Good evening, everyone, and hello, and welcome to Contracting and Business Week. I am your host, Luciana Turner. Welcome. I am glad that you're here. You know how we do over here. We don't believe in growing alone. Invite your friends, tag them in the post, share it out amongst your community. We don't grow alone. Hi. So, for all of you who know who I am, hello, good evening. And for those of you who don't, my name is Luciana Turner. I am the founder of the LT&A consulting group. We are a government contracting consulting firm who work with companies that are 2 to 3 years in operations seeking to integrate government contracting into their business. And we also work with companies who are currently doing business in the government contracting space who are seeking to implement compliance services into their businesses. And to give you a little bit more about myself, I personally have been working and operating in the government contracting space for about 20 some odd years. Started in the nonprofit sector, then did a year on project. Then I worked in compliance for one of the top government contracting firms out there and in compliance. And for those of you who want to know, compliance is simply where you do what you say you're going to do, the way you told the government you're going to do it every time. The government comes in to test that you're actually doing what you say you're going to do. That's just a quick and dirty way of doing it. Now, Government and Contracting Week has multiple purposes, but we're going to get there. Let me slow my roll. I have some time to spend with you this evening. So, I am a mother, I'm a business owner, and I'm a soon to be author of the book Keys to Government Contracting that's soon to go on pre-sale this Wednesday. I'm so proud of myself, but we'll deep dive into that on Wednesday a little more. But now let me lay the foundations of this week, what this week is about, and to just set the intentions. Contracting and Business Week. The purpose of this week is to, first of all, share some information with my audience about government contracting and business. It's also to share some information about my upcoming event, Contracting and Business, Leading in Faith in Your Business. Now, somebody is going to want to tune out. I want you to hear me out, because somebody's already made it up their minds that faith and business doesn't mix. I say it does. Hear me out, walk with me. The two intersect because believers think they have to put their faith down in order to run a profitable business. Believers believe to effectively work in their business, they have to put their light under a bushel. Neither is true. Oftentimes, I interact with people and they do not overtly realize that they're dealing with a faith person, not because I hide my faith, but because I do not overtly proselytize people. And then what I end up doing is end up in a conversation with somebody about my faith. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And what I am doing and what I'm inviting you to is a conversation about effective faith leadership in your business. Because sometimes we can turn people off and not mean to while representing Christ. We are disciples and we should be discipling in every sector of life, but we're not discipling effectively and efficiently. However, that's not the totality of the event. We will also be covering government contracting. We will also be covering ethics. We will also be talking about leadership and effective leadership and the phases of leadership, especially if you're a government contractor. We will talk about positioning yourself. Because you know what I find in my years in talking to people? People don't know how to talk about their services. And then they wonder why they can't win a government proposal. We're so busy writing a proposal, we don't know how to talk about our services. Then we're going to talk about the intersectionality of faith and business. We're wrapping it all together in this event in October. And I want to introduce my faculty to you over the course of this week. And I want you to understand this is not just as my pastor or my spiritual mentor would call it, and my business mentor would call it, a spin around a holler event, but it's a deep immersion of business event. It's an event where you'll come out transformed, mind, business, and spirit. So if you stick with me throughout the week, trust me, you will get something for your business. You will get something for your mind. You will have an effective up-leveling in every sector. Because we want to address one area without addressing the other. And then we wonder why we're having wobbling results. Hold on for a second. We wonder why we're having wobbling results. But we have to address every sector in our business, every sector in our life, every sector in every aspect. Every sector has to be addressed. We have to address our leadership and how leadership changes. You don't lead in every season the same way. My guest tomorrow night, Shalana Clark, she is the beast when it comes to leadership and mindset. We're going to talk about that. My guest, Bishop Kevin Clark, on Tuesday, he's actually a government contracting officer. He's actually going to facilitate the panel discussion on contracting and what contractors look for and how to pivot in contracting. And he's also going to facilitate our conversation around the intersectionality of faith. So I'm quite sure you're going to enjoy that conversation. Now, Kevin Clark and Shalonda Clark are not related. They just have the same name. Wednesday, we're going to answer your question live. So if you have questions throughout the week, pop them in the chat. You could email them to me. We're going to answer those live on Wednesday evening. And Wednesday is the official launch of my book, Keys to Government Contracting. I am so excited about that. Whew, that's been a baby of mine that I finally birthed. And I'm actually teaching on 2 concepts from the book at the conference in October. I'm going to talk about that a lot more on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, our guest, Janet Williams, will talk about ethics. She's an ethics, diversity, and inclusion officer. But we're going to talk about that a little more on Thursday. Our guest on Friday evening, Beverly Walthour, is going to talk to you about positioning. And I have to tell you something. A lot of people, I've sat in on debriefings with some of my former clients, And what I've heard repeatedly, other than pricing, people don't talk about their services correctly. I want you to come to the October event, but I want you to listen to Beverly talk about positioning. I just went through her class. She's a beast. Because if you don't talk about your services correctly, you're not going to answer certain sections of the RFP correctly. So you can take all the RFP proposal writing classes all you want. If you don't talk about your services correctly, you're not going to answer the RFP correctly. You really need to be here this week. You really need to be in the room in October. You really need to hear what my faculty has to say. And then on Saturday, I come back, and then my faculty is going to pop in with me throughout the evening. And we're going to wrap this week up. And it's just going to be an awesome evening. So that's all I have for you tonight. All I wanted you to do this evening was set the intentions for the week. And actually, this evening, the live was a little bit impromptu. It wasn't on the original schedule. Originally, we were scheduled to start tomorrow. But I always believe in being intentional. I always believe in setting the expectations. So for those of you who haven't registered, I invite you to register. For the event, so that not only can you get all of the updates, all of the notices. I hope I'm putting up the right graphic. Nope, that's the wrong graphic, but that's okay. If you're interested in attending the conference in October, go to eventcreate.com/contracting and business. Check it out. That event is going to answer the mail for a lot of your questions around government contracting, how basically it's going to answer the mail for you. And for anybody who wants to be a government contractor and you're not invested in investing in your continuing education, I'm going to just put it out there flat out that I question your conviction. The average RFP or proposal effort is 20% of the contract value. So if you're pursuing a $250,000 contract, you should be prepared to invest $25,000 in the BNP effort. And BNP is the bid and proposal effort. I would say continuing education should be a part of that. Constantly writing and not understanding the process is time-consuming and expensive. Investing in your long-term education is priceless. Investing in that education process allows you, and I want to sew a little bit this evening, so bear with me. Investing in your long-term education in leadership and ethics and what I do, compliance, allows you to upskill you as a leader in your business so that you have something to pour into the people you lead. It's just that simple. How can you effectively and efficiently lead your team if you're constantly leading from an empty cup? Whether that be an emotionally empty cup, a mentally empty cup, or an intellectually empty cup. Your professional development has to be on key and on par. I'm actually off script, so I might as well move my notes to the side. As you enter the room, say hello, drop a note in the chat. So this week is a part of your professional development. The October conference is a part of your professional development. And as you as a leader, as the CEO of your business, as the CEO of your life, pour into yourself. You can now go back and effectively and efficiently pour into your team and effectively and efficiently lead and pour into them from the overflow instead of from the deficiency. I'm speaking from experience. When I was leading from the deficit, I was constantly worn out. But when I went and I kept replenishing my leadership skills, when I learned that there was different leadership techniques, when I kept renewing my mindset, when I kept learning not new ethical skills, but when I kept learning the ways in which ethics were applied and how to deal with it, when I kept evolving, it made it easier to lead and it made it easier to make executive decisions. But that only came from investments. In programs like this, in programs like the conference I'm putting on, I constantly invest in my education. I was just taking a training, and actually with one of my faculty members, a paid training. I was in her training this week. And now she's coming to speak on my platform this week and in October. So I'm going to just wrap this evening up. I gave out the schedule and now, I'll just run through it again. So on tomorrow evening, our guest will be Miss Shalonda Clark. She is the premier, and I do mean premier, specialist on leadership and mindset. You don't want to miss anything. And she is a government contracting officer. So you don't want to miss my session tomorrow, my interview with her. She is a hoot. So join me tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's when we go live. And the first rule of government contracting is always be on time. So I'm signing off this evening with a reminder. A stressed mind will never create. Take time to rest this evening. Come back tomorrow evening with your contractor's notebook. Be prepared to take some notes because I'm quite sure she's going to be dropping the nuggets. And I'll see you then this was day 1 of Contracting and Business Week. So tomorrow's day 2 with Miss Shalonda Clark. Signing off for the evening. I'm Luciana Turner, your host for this week. Have an amazing, amazing evening. And I will see you on tomorrow.